The New York Giants just hit the trifecta of great news. Let's talk about it. My name is Paul. This is Big Apple Sports. If this is your first time tuning in, thank you very much. Please just take a quick second, like and subscribe. Does me a huge solid. And I'm going to be keeping you up to date on all the latest Giants news, rumors, whatever you want. I got it right here, so don't miss out. Also, comment below, who do you want as head coach? I think most of us are team John Harbaugh at this point. But if you like somebody different, let me know. If you like John Harbaugh, tell me who you would want as the coordinators. I always like talking Giants football with you guys in the comments. So 3 pieces of big-time news today. Let's go through them. First bit of news is, guys, it sounds like John Harbaugh to the Giants really could happen. He officially is the favorite to land the job. They have him listed as a minus 150. If you're not familiar with like gambling terms, a negative number means that they think it is more likely to happen or not. I believe minus 150 implies a 67% chance that Vegas thinks he will be the Giants head coach. And looking at the other openings, they have him plus 450, plus 650, plus 800, plus 800 for some of these other jobs. Like I said, if you're not familiar with gambling terms, the higher positive you are means the more unlikely they think it is. So he's kind of an unlikely person for each one of the other head coaching jobs, and they're giving him 67% chance to be on the Giants. Second part of that, this is still the first bit of good news, but Ian O'Connor tweeted that John Harbaugh has a high regard for the Giants job and for Jackson Dart. Of the 6 head coach openings, I believe he might have the Giants at number 1 or close to it. As I wrote yesterday, I believe he hurdles Kevin Stefanski as the leader in the clubhouse. So that's great to hear. We all know the Giants are going to be interested in him, and if they weren't, I think we should all have serious questions about ownership. But to hear that the interest is mutual, and that it's not just Giants fans drinking the Kool-Aid, dreaming the big dream about getting the Super Bowl champion head coach. This is everybody. This is Vegas, who they don't like to lose money, coming out here saying, yeah, I think John Harbaugh to the Giants is a real possibility. So as Giants fans, that has to feel amazing. I'm super hyped about it. He's the guy I want for sure. It just feels too good to be true at this point. It's hard to believe that an opportunity like this could fall into the Giants' laps. We just have to hope at this point that they don't botch it. But a second bit of good news, and you'll have to stay with me for a second on this one, because when you first read this, or when I first explain it to you, you might be like, how is this good news? But I think in terms of the Giants' pursuit of John Harbaugh, or if you prefer another coach, any kind of coach that has a lot of, pretty much a high regard around the league and could have his choice of jobs, this is good news for the Giants. All right, I kind of butchered the way I said that. But Mike Francesca went on his radio show today and discussed that, Joe Schoen, I know a lot of Giants fans aren't happy that they kept him, but the reason they probably did is it's because it's likely to lead to a significant power shift in the organization. He said that Joe Schoen's job security has little to do with their on-field performance and everything to do with behind-the-scenes circumstances. The facts are what they are, and that he was going to stay. But he believes they're going to bring in a veteran head coach who is going to get an expansive amount of power because he's going to win arguments with a weak general manager. And that's what you have right now. You have a weak general manager, especially if they bring in a strong head coach. So I know in the past, last year, the Jaguars, they actually fired their general manager because the guy they wanted, Liam Cohen, didn't like him. I still don't think that's outside of the realm of possibilities. But another thing we saw happen last coaching cycle is a lot of people in the Bears front office didn't really love Ryan Poles, their general manager, but they were able to sell the hottest coaching name on the market, Ben Johnson, on hey, I know this GM is kind of on the hot seat, but what that means for you is you have a lot of say and a lot of power and personnel, and that can actually be really appealing to a head coach, especially someone like John Harbaugh, who's been in the NFL 30 years, has a Super Bowl ring. Like the Giants can kind of sell him as like, hey, you and Joe Shane, you're a partnership. This isn't like Joe Shane's team and you're stuck coaching who he wants. You're going to get a say in personnel. You're going to have a lot of power here. So I think that actually, like as much as I know a lot of people don't like Joe Shane, his presence could actually lead to one of the top coaches on the market really desiring this job, knowing that they could have some extra say in personnel decisions. And then the final bit of good news is there are two different college football like draft declarations today that I actually think have a big time influence on the Giants. The first one is Ty Simpson declared for the NFL draft. This is huge for the Giants because with the 5th pick now, I know we all wanted the first, but it's the 5th. You want as many quarterbacks to go before the Giants as possible because you want the Giants to have as many of the best position players there as possible. So like Ty Simpson, a week ago it came out, I'll pull it up here, that he might enter the portal, look at Tennessee or Oregon, if he does not get a first-round draft grade. So it sounds like he and his agent kind of talked to like NFL personnel, NFL insiders, and were like, hey, am I a first-round QB? And the fact that he has now declared for the NFL draft probably tells you that he was told, like, yeah, you're going to be a first-round pick. And a lot of people kind of see him more as like a, pick him at the end of the first, kind of like what the Giants did with Jackson Dart, so that you can use that 5th-year option on him. But like people fall in love with quarterbacks during the draft process all the time. He's 6'2", has NFL size, he's got a good arm, didn't look great against Indiana in the playoffs, but like he's got good accuracy. It's not inconceivable to think that an NFL team's going to fall in love with him. And there's another guy I'm going to talk about in just a second, but first just kind of reminding you what the order is. Raiders, Jets, Cardinals. I don't know 3 teams out there who need, like, they desperately need a quarterback. Like the Raiders were starting Geno Smith all year. He had a brutal year. They're going to be moving on. Probably take Fernando Mendoza. The Jets, I mean, they were starting Brady Cook at the end of the year, who I don't even know if he was drafted last year, but like they're going to absolutely be looking, and they'll probably take Dante Moore. But then the Cardinals, everything has been that they're going to want to move on from Kyler Murray, and they're going to be looking for a quarterback too. So if you could see the Cardinals take Ty Simpson here instead of going best player available, that leaves us in a situation where Titans can take the best player available and the Giants can take the second best player available. And a lot of times that works out so well for teams like the Titans, Giants, maybe Commanders, like teams who don't need a quarterback, and teams reach up for that quarterback, and then all of a sudden these blue chip players at other positions fall down to your slot, and you can get a star at, it kind of happened to the Giants with Abdul Carter last year. But final bit of news, this is another player who declared for the draft that I think this is a big thing for the Giants, is Ohio State star safety Caleb Downs. A week ago, I would have told you, like, man, I love Caleb Downs. If the Giants traded down to like 8 to 10, maybe they go for him there, but top 5 is pretty high to take a safety. But let me tell you something. John Harbaugh absolutely like revolutionized the safety position in Baltimore. I don't know why. Like, I know like most people consider quarterback, left tackle, edge, wide receiver. Like these are a lot of times considered the most important blue chip positions. And then, your running backs, linebackers, safeties a lot of times get pushed down a little bit. But I remember a few years ago, it was Kyle Hamilton in the draft, and everyone was like, this guy is absolutely the best player in the draft. But because he's a safety, he fell to 14. And then lo and behold, John Harbaugh turns him into the most versatile player in the NFL. The defensive coordinator of the Ravens, said, like, we literally will play him anywhere but D tackle. And he has completely changed this Ravens defense. A lot of people have said that he is like he's like the Lamar Jackson of their defense, like just a clear MVP, does it all for their defense. Look at all these different positions he played last year. Played a lot of slot corner, linebacker, free safety, outside linebacker. Like this guy intercepts passes. He hits running backs behind the line of scrimmage. He impacts the run. He impacts the passing game. Like he's somebody who does everything. And no matter what people think of safeties, having this kind of versatility from an elite player is absolutely worth a top 5 pick. And that brings us back to Caleb Downs, the best safety that we've seen in college football probably since Kyle Hamilton. And I say this as a Michigan fan. Like I hate Ohio State. I've personally never liked Caleb Downs. I'll love him if he puts on that blue jersey and fights for the Giants next year. But like this guy's an absolute star. Super versatile. Ohio State used him similarly where he came up and he made tackles. He played in coverage. Like he did a little bit of everything. And like if I'm John Harbaugh right now, I'm like, oh my gosh, like thank you Ravens for firing me, because I can go coach Jackson Dart and I can have Brian Burns and Abdul Carter and Kayvon Thibodeau and Dexter Lawrence on my D-line, and I have Malik Neighbors and Cam Scadaboo and Andrew Thomas. Like I have all like the blue chip players at the important positions I could possibly need, and I can go get Caleb Downs, my Kyle Hamilton, throw him at safety, and I think he's the kind of player that, like, there's a lot of talent on this defense. They performed pretty terribly, but the talent is there, and a guy like Caleb Downs could be like the glue that brings this defense together, and I feel like John Harbaugh has to be licking his chops looking at this opportunity. So, gosh, I mean, if you had asked me like a week ago if I really thought John Harbaugh could be the Giants coach, I would have laughed at you. But now here we stand. Like if I were to put money on somebody to be the head coach of the New York Football Giants, it's going on John Harbaugh. I really think it's happening. Like he's got to be the Giants' number 1 guy. All the news is that he's the Giants' number 1 guy. And then in return, all the news from Vegas, from insiders, from everybody, not just Giants fans like me drinking the Kool-Aid, everybody thinks that the Giants are his most desirable job. So this is huge. Like this is a franchise-changing opportunity that has just fallen into the Giants' lap out of nowhere. So we all got to be so hyped as Giants fans. Get hyped. It was a rough season, but man, brighter pastures, greener pastures are ahead. So comment below. Give me your thoughts on any of all that. Let me know, like I said, who would you want to be Harbaugh's coordinators if they get him? If you don't want Harbaugh, this is a safe space. Tell me who you want. I had somebody tell me they'd rather have Mike Kafka yesterday, and I like, if that's how you feel, fine. I like to hear everybody's opinion. I don't agree with that, but I do like to hear everybody's opinion. So comment below, and then don't forget, like and subscribe on your way out.